Okay, guys, welcome to BIIN Gallery. That's me. Hi. Welcome to BIIN Gallery. Do you see it? We are here in BIIN Gallery. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, thank you. All right, so here's BIIN Gallery. This is one of my latest pieces that I love so much. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm ready to sell this one. So that one I should probably say that off the bat. But this is called Heat Wave. This is Heat Wave. This is my latest piece. So it's not on the wall because I just did it. Like I finished it about a month ago. And I love it so much. So you guys can see like some of the detail and textures and stuff. I do a lot of layering kind of work. Yep, all abstract. Abstract is definitely my thing. Organic abstract art. Some stuff has crystals in it. Some have rose petals in some of them. Yes, definitely kind of fall colored vibes. And the heat of the sun is like bright orange. Hello, John. Welcome, welcome. Just a vibe tonight, but I am actually walking you guys through my art gallery. I am an abstract artist, among many things. So I am introducing you guys to my art. So that's Heat Wave. And this is some of the others. So where should I go first? Let's go this side first. This one is called Rainbow Wi-Fi. As you can see here, Kaya actually named this one. So I don't know if Kai's still here. My daughter was here earlier. So Kai, if you're still here, thank you again for the awesome name for this piece. It's perfect. Rainbow Wi-Fi. Love that. Thank you, Dakota. Asante, what's up, Queen? Bridget, hey. I'm seeing y'all coming in. Cece, welcome. You are in BIIN Gallery tonight, guys. So you can see, as I was mentioning, very textured art. So I always have like this energy, you know, where you kind of look at it and you want to touch, and people say like, don't touch the art in art galleries. I have signs that say, please touch the art. BIIN Gallery, a multi-sensory experience. If anybody's in New York, by the way, I do private walkthroughs and private showings and stuff. So if you are interested in actually visiting in person, absolutely, let me know. So galaxy vibes, right? Thank you, Asante. Beautiful. Appreciate you. So yeah, that's Rainbow Wi-Fi. And you can see this size is 11 by 14. So details are all here and stuff. On my website as well, backtonatural.life, there's a tab for BIIN Gallery, and all of the pieces that I'm going to show you and tons more are on there with all the prices and everything. So $333 for the 11 by 14s. I also do my prices just based on size, not based on how long it took me to do a piece or the materials or whatever. Because again, I really just want to make it, you know, approachable and not create these barriers of entry for real art, for especially original art, all one of a kind. All of these are hand done, took whatever time it took, and when it's gone, it's yours. You know what I mean? It's yours. Other than prints that will be done, the original is the original. So that's Rainbow Wi-Fi. And then we've got Energy Augment. I'm trying to move back so you can see the full piece. What's my creative process? Thank you for the question. Indeed, if you guys have questions, let me know. So I actually, every piece, sometimes I'll have dreams about a piece and I'll try to like replicate what I see in the dream. Sometimes I'll literally just choose a color palette and I just let things happen. It's very trance-like experience oftentimes. So again, a lot of layers as well. So I'll do what I refer to as an underpainting, and then I'll just let things happen on top. So I don't often have a plan, or if I do have a plan, it ends up being something completely different. So the process is very organic. Sometimes I'll do a piece and I like hate it. And there's times where I call it like the ugly phase. And then I'll have to like kind of put it away for a minute and then end up just continuing to layer. And it's like the kind of process where the piece tells me when it's done. And that's when I'm like, okay, she's ready, you know. And my pieces are very she energies, very divine feminine energy that I feel from them, just because of the creative process and the receptive mode that I have to be in to complete them and just to go through the birthing process in a sense. So yeah, that's the process. Thank you, Keisha. Lucretia, welcome. sharing my art gallery with y'all tonight. Just a vibe. Highly spiritual, like ancestral vibes. Yes, Queen. Thank you, Kiba, for noticing that. Absolutely. They definitely, they rule my hands. They rule my heart. Like every piece really feels like I said, it's a trance experience, and it just feels like they kind of decide what comes next, you know? So that's Energy Augment, another 11 by 14 for 333. All original pieces. This one, I don't know if you guys see, do you see the letter in there? Do you see a letter in this piece? Let me know if you guys see a letter and what letter you see. Let me know if you see a letter and what letter do you see if you do. I might be giving it away when yes, the A, right? You can see the E kind of vibe too, right? The A. So this happened by accident. Like, it was so crazy. So after it was done, I saw the A, and then I was like, oh, this is called a game or a game. So it's like bring your A game, but it's also the energy of a game and how kind of life is a game. And I always remind people and myself that life is a game, but we're not players, we're programmers. And to make sure that you're not in an energy of a player in this game, because players get played. You're a programmer and you get to decide what this game looks like for you, this simulation. So that's what inspired this piece as it just kind of happened. And then I was just like, all right, we're going to call this a game or a game. So that's that. Almost like Captain America shield, right? Indeed. So another 11 by 14. Again, they're all by size is the price, $333. Even though some pieces take longer than others, again, I really just wanted to make it accessible, make it approachable, make it easier for me to remember. You guys know that I'm all about the master numbers and stuff. So, and all of the pieces as well, if I ship them to you, shipping is included in the price. So that's another little tidbit to make it a little easier. And then on this side, we've got a 10 by 10. This is Pumice Puzzle. And I called it that because I use sand. So I don't know if you're able to kind of see how textured it is, but it is very textured. Like it's like a pumice. It's literally like a pumice stone. Like you can file your nails on this. You can probably like give your feet an exfoliation on this piece. And I kind of used tape and did like all different like, you know, pieces of tape and weird shapings and stuff. I used sand as well as this thing called gesso that like makes things really hardened and stuff. And then just kind of, you know, made the spaces in between. Again, a lot of layering with different colors of the paint and gradients and stuff like that. I chose the color palette that I wanted. And then I used like these little sketching tools and, you know, if you can see, I'll bring you in a little closer so you can see some of the texture on there. You see? That's really unique. Thank you, Kiva. Like this one. Love this one. Thank you, Lakeisha. Thought it was a carpet at first. Bacon. That's so cool. Oh, wow. That's cool. Thank you, Dakota. Thanks, guys. So you see, like super, like you can see how deep that is, you know what I mean? So super textured and stuff. So yeah, that's Pumice Puzzle. That's 222, smaller size. So, you know, I kind of make it match in regards to the sizing and pricing and stuff like that. 14,000 likes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And then this one is a round canvas. And all of these are in stretch canvas, by the way. So I forgot to mention that. All of them are stretch canvas. So you have, you know, the full thickness of the sides and stuff like that, easier to mount. All of them are mounted with that kind of safe tape kind of thingy, the 3M stuff, so that it doesn't destroy your walls. And they're very light, so it's easy to mount up. So this is a round canvas. So you can see it still has the full texture on the sides. This is powerful. It's a 10-inch diameter, also 222. So you can see this one's got some texture as well because there's some like thick mounds of paint on some of these circles here. A lot of texture you can see as you're flicking. But, you know, when you guys, like, if you ever get to like see it or when you get it, you'll feel like how much texture there is, you know. Thanks, Nicole. Nice. Ooh, Kiva really really love that one. Awesome. Thank you, thank you. Oh, look at that. They're restricting me again. God, they're terrible on this freaking TikTok. Anyways, whatever. I'm going to show my art. So this one is Pours and Prints. I have a collection called Pours and Prints. Before I started abstract and actually using textures and brushwork and stuff, I was doing paint pouring. So I don't know if anybody knows what paint pouring is, but it's using like very thin liquefied acrylic paint, and you do different techniques, and then you kind of turn the canvas around, and then it naturally makes its own little striations and stuff. So this was originally a pour, and then I added these pieces to it. So now I refer to it as Pours and Prints, and this is the 8th one. I have a collection. I'll show you guys the others another time. But this is one of the Pours and Prints that I did. Yes, sacred geometry, indeed. Absolutely, Nicole. Yup. So again, please touch the art. All right, let's come down here. This is Iridescence. 11 by 14. So this piece, I remember when I first moved into this place that I'm in now, this was the first piece that I did in my new art studio, which was in this place. I moved here, it's actually gonna be a year on winter solstice. And I did this piece the first week of January. So this is gonna be a year old. Iridescence. So a lot of detail and texture and stuff in my pieces. And I actually did this piece with a pack of iridescent paints that Kai got me for Christmas. So yeah, giving music vibes, cool. Nice, thank you. And then this one is called Praying Puppy. It's one of my faves actually, and it just happened so by accident. And after I did it, I always stand back after I do a piece and I take pictures of it, and I see so much different after I look at the picture. And then I saw a little puppy praying. So I don't know if you guys can see, if you see that, right? But I called it Praying Puppy because that's what it made me feel like. You see that, right? You see that, right, Nicole? So that's Praying Puppy. And that is celestial puppy vibes, indeed. And this is with metallic paints. So you can see some of the texture as well and detail in there. A lot of layering. So I like to see, things coming through underneath. So that's why I love doing, layered pieces and stuff under paintings, and then painting on top and seeing what pops through, So that's Praying Puppy, and that's from a metallic collection. And this is another one from the metallic collection. This is Fork in the Road. If you could see that. That's Fork in the Road. This is 16 by 20. So these are the larger pieces that I'm about to show you guys now. 16 by 20 are my largest pieces. I stick to that size just to, again, make it more accessible for people in terms of budget and stuff, since $444 is the max that, I thought of charging for a piece, at this stage, especially, and just, again, I'd rather get it in people's homes than to just, have me collecting them, because that's what I'm doing right now. I've sold quite a few, which I'm grateful for, but I've got quite a few that I would love to bless new homes with. So you can see as well some of the textures and details, and you see how some of the texture comes through. That's what I love. So I do an underpainting. So this whole painting looked like this, and then this design that just totally happened organically, just kind of showed up naturally over it. And then when it was done, she said, "I'm forking the road." And I was like, that's cool. That's cool. And then these pieces, I'm going to show you this one, and this one is actually a triptych, which means there's 3 of them. The first one that I did is actually at the Billie Holiday Theater. the first art show that I was selected for to display one of my pieces was at the Billie Holiday Theater in Brooklyn on Fulton. Super honored by that. So that piece is still at the theater. And this is the third one that I did, which is Potency. The one that's at Billie Holiday Theater is called Power. And then the other sister, which was done second, is Purpose. So Power is at Billie Holiday Theater. This one is Purpose. A lot of texture. You can see here also has some sand and some gesso in it. There's some silver foil in this one. Super, super textured and stuff. Some sparkles and stuff. A lot of texture. You can see how thick some of these droplets are. You know. You like that one, Nicole? Thank you. Awesome. And then let's go back to this one. Potency has copper leaf. And then Power, which is at Billie Holiday Theater, is with gold leaf. So it has the triple energy of the metals. So very textured. And then underneath here, we've got Slice of Life. That's right here, Slice of Life. Hey, Danielle, welcome, welcome. Hey, Panda, hey, Trickiana. Sharing my art with you guys tonight. If you're interested, do let me know. This one right here is Slice of Life. And if you can see, there's a lot of triangle, pyramid type energies in it, which made me think of slices of pie or pizza. So that's what inspired the title of Slice of Life. A lot of texture and detail in this one. And a lot of it, again, just happens super organically. Very trance-like states, you know, that I experience in the moment. Yeah, thank you. And then this one is called Elements. So you may be able to see why it's called Elements. But we've got air at the top, super textured. We've got fire right here, super textured. We've got earth and we've got water. So that one's Elements. And you can see as well, again, in terms of the texture, like you could literally, like, it's like you can pick them off, you know what I mean? Like, it's really, really textured and stuff. And I wanted like the element movement and not just the color, you know what I mean? So as you can see, the water texture has like real waves and, you know what I mean? You can see the movement in it. And then the earth, you can see this kind of like stems and, you know, ground and grit and stuff like that, like you would find in the soil. And then with the fire, you can see some flecks in here. There's gold detail in it as well to bring in, you know, the crackle of fire. And then the air has some whirlwind, you know, kind of energy to it and detail. So you can see it's very like swoosh, you know. And then there's the full piece, Elements. Yep. And moving along, my portal to utopia, that you'll see this red dot. And every time people see this piece, they're like, oh no, red dot. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces, and it happened so incredibly magically. Oh, I'll never forget how this process happened, but it was definitely an outer body experience. And I don't know if you can see the portal, right? Like literally this like, you know, threshold of like what you're walking into. And I saw it after it was done. I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. That is gorgeous. Thank you, Dakota. Love that. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, this was one of my faves for sure. So that's Portal to Utopia. And then we've got a few more. This one is Purge. Let's see if you could see. Here we go. Purge is this one here. And it's so interesting because in the process, like sometimes I don't know what colors. I'll choose a color palette sometimes, and then other times, like it just happens super randomly. So while I was doing this one, I remember like doing the more like the browns and the beiges and the whites, and there's a dark brown. And then Spirit was just like pink and fuchsia and just like throw in. And I was just like, pink? Why would I? And then I just listened and I absolutely freaking love it. Like, and the detail in there. And sometimes I like, again, it's mixed media. So I have like pencil etchings in here and pens sometimes, you know, like these little random little dots. I have, what's it called? The glitter glue, just to kind of give these little pops here that are super textured and stuff that just come in randomly, you know. There's another one up here. So yeah, it's just a really organic process. So that one's called Purge. And when I was doing this piece, it really was kind of like, I felt like I was just kind of vomiting on this piece, like just releasing and letting go what I was experiencing at that moment. It was really just like, it was a purge. It was just like, and then I had some very liquid paint in these like little small containers that have like a little spout. So I was able to like squeeze and that's what made these very cool things here. I literally would just like squirt them randomly on to the canvas. And yeah, just, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Kristen. You love it. Awesome, awesome. Real Wick billion, Real Wick billion, because that's not billion. Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And then this one is Aurora, inspired by the Aurora Borealis. So you can see the colors and stuff, you know, the Northern Lights kind of energy. So that was what inspired this piece. And she had so many stages, and there's two pieces I'm going to show you actually, that so many stages that I thought that I totally ruined it. And they're two of my favorite pieces now. So that's what I love about abstract art, especially, that you just keep going. You just, when it's ugly or you don't like it, just keep going. Or start over, you know what I mean? But I'm the type that I just kind of keep going, instead of, a lot of artists sometimes will like strip the piece, or they'll pour white all over it and start completely over. And I just feel like it's a waste of paint to do that, and that there's so much identity to it already that it's supposed to find its way. Just like we are diamonds in the rough, we're supposed to like get the piece of coal and just kind of get scrubbed out to become the diamond, and you just keep going until you find it. So that's part of my process for sure. And I'm glad that I kept going and that I didn't just like scrap it or start over, because it's just, I love this piece. Absolutely love this piece. See the Northern Lights vibes, right, Nicole? Indeed. So you can see again some of the detail and stuff. So I'll bring you guys in. And again, a lot of underpainting vibes. So like this basically was what the whole piece looked like until I ended up building it out, you know, to give it this kind of center piece, and then giving it little pops of solid, you know what I mean? And just kind of, I used a balloon. So these like details that you see here is from taking the balloon when the paint is super wet still, and then just doing that, like that. And then it makes those like super cool little details and textures and stuff. That's all from the balloon. Cool, right? See these here too. Right? You have to trust the process in a lot of things, dog grooming included, Dakota. Exactly. Indeed. So that's Aurora. And then this is the other piece that I thought I ruined. And it's because ironically, I was working on these two pieces simultaneously. This one is Ancient. And I channeled these images. I do have Atlantis ancestry, and I definitely felt that calling. I felt that energy and channeled. It was literally just it just came out. It literally just happened. And again, multiple stages of this piece that I was like, oh my God, I ruined it. Oh my God, it's so ugly. Oh my God. And I freaking love this piece. And then these magical beings, if you see here, just showed up. I don't even know how that happened, but I saw them after and I freaked out. Totally freaked out. Because they are beings. They are absolutely ancestral, angelic. The halo around their wings, their energy, you know, it's really quite something how that happened. So that's that. Ancient vibes for sure, right, Nicole? Gorgeous. Thank you. This one just screams ancient power, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. And then this one is actually probably going to sell because I did get a buyer that asked me to put that on hold for them. So the red dot's not on it officially, but this is Sultry Slinkies, one of my faves too. So this one is gradient energy with the reds and the orangey and the dark going into the black. And this process too, like it was actually very quick how this one happened. But when I looked at it afterwards, it's a similar thing. Like I'm doing stuff and it's just so in the moment. And then I look at it afterwards and I'm like, whoa, especially when it tells me it's done. And then I have to kind of step back and then like look at it as an observer and not the creator. And I was just like, yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool. And I just love how the gradient came so smoothly. And if you can notice, I when I sign my pieces, I try to also blend with the colors. So I wanted to sign this one in red so that like a white didn't pop, you know what I mean? That it kind of still matched the, you know, the energy of the piece so that when it's in your home, doesn't have this thing like kind of popping out. Like you notice with this one too, I signed it in gold, you know, to kind of match the energy that's here. So I try to do that just to keep it uniform. All right, go ahead, Kiba. We'll see you midnight your time or my time. I just realized it's almost 11 for me. When are you going on in 7 minutes or are you still going on in an hour? I don't know if our timeline is different. So let me know minutes wise when you're starting in an hour or in 7 minutes. San, welcome. Rashid, welcome. Welcome. Because I'm going to wrap it up if you're starting in 7 minutes because I want to support your live and we're all going to come and support your live. So let me go through these real quick in case she's starting in 7 minutes. This is Divine Protection. These are what I was talking about with the paint pours. This is what a paint pour looks like. And then I added, these are all crystals. All here. Crystals here. It's a 222. This one is I See You, another paint pour. So those two are kind of a collection. And then these pieces also have crystals in them. This is Stone Spots 1, 2, and 3. You like? Ooh, which one? Oh my. Should I take you back to the blues or is it this one? These ones. Stone Spots. This one's 3. This one's 2, this one's 1, and I dreamt of these pieces. The blues, all right, I'm gonna bring you back to the blues in a minute, Dakota. I had a dream about these pieces and was able to replicate what I saw in the dream, which is super cool, especially to have a triptych for it to happen for 3 pieces. Love them all, Nicole loves them all. Yay, thank you. And then last but not least is Bloom. In terms of on the walls, I'm going to introduce you guys to a few other pieces that I had to take down. But this one is Bloom. A lot of texture on this one. All of these swirls that you see are super textured. So it's, again, very multi-sensory. You know, it has kind of a therapeutic vibe to it too, like a braille kind of experience. So I also wanted that, you know, for people that appreciate art more than just visually. So that's Bloom. And then Dakota liked the blues, so I'm gonna bring Dakota back to the blues. And again, all of these pieces you guys can see on my website, backtonatural.life. So if you are interested in taking a closer look and seeing all of the other ones that are available, then please do check that out. BACKII natural.life. And that's what I got for y'all tonight with our Just a Vibe. So welcome to BIIN Gallery. Welcome to BIIN Gallery. Thank you for joining me in BIIN Gallery. Thank you, Dakota. Please do. I appreciate that. That's the stuff, y'all. So I'm going to start posting pictures and sharing them a little bit more. And then some of the pieces that I have that aren't on the walls anymore, I'm just going to post or, do some lives and show them close up and talk about my process a little bit more and, just put it out. I got to put it out there more. 'Tis the season as well, after all. So, if y'all need some abstract art for yourselves or for gifts and stuff, let me know. Get them while they're hot. Get them before they're $10 million and stuff. Okay. There's 2 you really want. Thank you, Dakota. That would be awesome. But definitely check the website because this is only about half my inventory. So just in case, before you make your final selections, definitely check out the website, backtonatural.life, and check the tab BIIN Gallery. And yeah, this is literally only about half. Literally. Yeah. So, definitely check everything before you make your final decisions.